Well, here we are in Anne's workroom, and she's got the embroidery machine going. And further around we can see something about the boat race, but there are some colour patterns that we can have a look at in a minute. But the machine is running at the moment. When you're ready, yeah.
It can sit there for a bit. Right, well, I'm actually in Paul's bedroom, but it's sort of been taken over. Once upon a time, if I'd walked in here, I would have had to have ducked from all the model aeroplanes that were hanging from the ceiling. But now you have to step over all my sewing things. When I said that I would do something about machine embroidery, I stopped and thought about it, and I thought, hang on a minute, I didn't suddenly get into machine embroidery. It came after a long time of doing lots of other things. And also what occurred to me was that it actually goes a long way back in my history with everybody. Loads of, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ancestors, I suppose you would say, all being milliners and making ladies' hats and decorations and things like that. My mum was actually an upholsteress. She made tight covers, loose covers, cushions, curtains, but also clothes, and especially wartime, and remaking things that could be used again. My sister, who was an artist and became an art teacher, also did a diploma in art and embroidery and dressmaking, and I think probably I was a very good guinea pig for her, because she was nearly 16 when I was born, so by the time I went to school she was a teacher, and she, I am quite sure, tried out all sorts of things on me, a way of teaching me to sew, to crochet, to knit, to make little dolls' clothes and things like that. So in a way, I suppose this has always been there, doing things, making things, and basically I enjoy it. Do you want to go on anything?
Cool.
Okay. The machine embroidery came quite late, actually. I've done all sorts of other things in the meantime. Up here with me, I have brought quite a few, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cushions, which are tapestry. I love doing tapestry. I've never done cross stitch. It's too fiddly. I don't like cross stitch, but I love seeing the pattern, the picture develop, and also changing things. Now that, when I bought it, the colours were completely different. They were oranges and horrible. Well, I didn't like the colours, and I think it's partly my sister's influence, because I was instructed very strongly in the use of colours. So all those colours are different to what they were supposed to be. So tapestry is quite fun, and also, so she's thrown back on the settee, tapestry pictures, because I don't know what they are. They just seem to live to me. I'm not an artist. I can do a bit of drawing, but I can't do things like my sister did. But that I just fell in love with, because I saw the design and I thought, that looks exactly like a place that we visited when we were away in the caravan. And I could just remember walking down the path and seeing the tower of the church and the little cottage, and I thought, I've just got to make that. And I love that. Did you bring the other one up?
No, I'll go and get it.
Oh, okay. This is another tapestry picture which I made, which has got quite a history, actually. Some years ago, John wasn't very well, and he had an operation for prostate cancer, and then he had to go backwards and forwards down to Addenbrooke's to have treatment, and he'd either go down by train, or sometimes he'd drive himself down, and I'd be left at home waiting for him to come home. And he's a country boy, really. He's not a town boy. He's you know, we have to live in the town, but he longs for the country and anything to do with the country. So I found this picture of an old tractor, and I spent every afternoon that he was out doing the picture, and gradually the picture grew and the tractor grew, and I was just really pleased with it. I hope he was pleased with it too. I think he was.
Yes.
So
yes.
that was
Lovely.
that was rather a special picture that I made. So we'll put that one down. I've also made things that you can play with, and I've made several. Do you want to throw her over at me? She doesn't mind being thrown.
I'll pass her over.
Oh, thank you. Right. Well, you can go up there and look at people, can't you? There you are. Wave to people. That's it. Good. This was the first of these dollies that I made, and I think it was Linda's, and I think Linda probably decided that she could stay at home. But she's a lovely dolly, and I enjoyed making her. And I think I've made 5 or 6 for various members of the family. I don't know whether I made one for Nikki. Nikki was never a very girly little girl. She didn't play with dolls. She played with her brother's toys. But I definitely made one for my great niece in America, and I made one for Sophie, little Sophie, who comes to Buggy Buddies. And they're lovely dollies, and you can take all their clothes off, apart from their underwear, which is all part of them. So they've got frilly underwear, but it doesn't come off. But I like my dollies. I enjoy making dollies. And there's another one that I've got a picture of somewhere, but we haven't got him, because I made a Cub Scout in a Cub Scout uniform, and we raffled him at a Christmas bazaar.
Was that at Levenstock Green?
No, it was here.
Oh,
There's a picture. I've got a picture of him somewhere.
Oh, right.
Yes, because he's got a Longthorpe scarf on.
Oh, oh.
Yes. So it's fun making things. I like making things, but I like making clothes as well. So I love buying material. I've got 2 little ladies here, which I've made as well. I've made lots and lots of these, and they're actually pincushions, and they're stuffed with sand, and they're little peg dolls. So they start off simply. Oh, I should probably drop all this on the floor.
Can you hold them still a moment?
Well, I was trying to turn round.
Okay.
They start off like a little peg, like that. And, sorry, then they have arms, which have to be made out of pipe cleaners. And then it's a case of making their dresses. And lots of little bits of fancy material, little floral material. And then I just build them up and put some decoration on them, and stuff the underneath skirt with sand, and they can sit on the side and look after your pins. And I think they're rather cute.
Now hold them up. Let's have a close look at them.
Right. There we are. You can make them wave to you, or they can hold hands if you've got 2 of them. There we are. Ever since I was, I don't know when I first made something to wear, I think it must have been certainly before I went to secondary school. But I suppose we've always done this in the family, partly because it's been part of the tradition of the family, but also because I was born in the middle of the war, and there just weren't clothes around. But my mother could sew, my mother could make things, and as I say, my sister could make things. And sometimes it was a problem getting fabric, but Mum was very adept at remaking things, making old dresses of hers into dresses for me or whatever, making an old greatcoat of my father's into a winter coat for me, which was brilliant. So it never seemed strange to me to be expected to be able to make something that you could wear, and it was satisfying. I found it great. I did get into trouble when I first went to secondary school, because we were supposed to be making something, I've no idea what it was, I can't remember, and I was told to tack 2 pieces of material together. So I did. I tacked the 2 pieces of material together, and I took it up and I showed it to the teacher, and she said, well, that's no good, you'll have to undo it. And I said, why? She said, because it's not properly tacked. And I said, but it's 2 pieces of material tacked together, held together. But the tacking should be 2 short stitches and 1 long stitch. And I thought, why? All you've got to do is pull it out. So I'm afraid me and sewing at school didn't do very well. However, I've continued doing it all the rest of my life. Dresses. I like making dresses. If I stand up, I don't know if you can see it, this is a dress that I've made. Very comfortable. It's another one. Don't quite know what to say. What do you say about making things?
Well, you're always making them, picking up material from different places.
Oh, well, yes, I've got a fantastic website that I go on. It's called Croft Mill. And it used to be in an old mill in Lancashire, in Colne in Lancashire. And it was run by a fantastic chap who knows absolutely everything about fabrics, particularly woolen fabrics. He retired, and I thought, oh dear, you know, it's all going to disappear. But after a little while, it reopened, not in the mill, but in on an industrial site, and it's run by his daughter, who is the person in charge, but it is also with him. And every time you look on the website, you get a picture of both of them together, and they sell the most fantastic fabrics, and I love it. And they are not expensive. Well, they don't work out expensive if you buy a piece of woolen fabric and you can make a skirt for £24. I don't think that's too bad. In fact, you've got some behind you in the wardrobe.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Do you want me to find something?
Can I find one?
This further down this end, towards your
Okay.
left.
Yeah.
A check. Not the pink one. There's a brown check. No, further down. Well, further down.
That one.
That one. Yes, that one.
That's made out of 2 different fabrics.
That is made out of 2 different fabrics. Yes, this was made out of 2 remnants. They only had the back ends of a couple of rolls, and I thought, well, they look nice together. So I bought both back ends of the rolls, and I think the whole skirt cost me £20. And they are both 100% wool, and they're beautiful. That one's got cashmere in it. So that's what I like doing. I like doing that. Nobody else has got one like that. It's mine. It's mine.
We also used to go to Leeds Market, didn't we?
Oh yes, Leeds Market. Leeds Market has fantastic stuff, and not just fabrics but wool. Because I had a knitting machine as well, and I used to make things for the children, all their school jumpers and things on the knitting machine, and great big cones of wool. And, oh yeah, I love Leeds Market. There's 2 pieces of material over there from Croft Mill, which I have just bought and which are going to make autumn dresses. So they're both slightly brushed cotton. That one, warmish dress, and that one again was the back end of a roll. So I thought, right, I'll have that. There's enough there to make a dress, and I feel much happier doing that than
When
going
are
out
you going to start those?
When am I going to start that? When I've got time. That's the yes, well, both those dresses would have cost me about £22 each, because I've already got the patterns.
Yeah. And what about your new present?
Sorry? And yes, well, I have to, obviously I can't make something like that unless it's going to fit me. So I have a dressmaker's dummy, and I've had 1 or 2 over the years, and we were talking about things the other day, and I was saying my dummy, you know, it's getting a bit worn out and it tends to fall apart in the middle, and you know, and we were also talking about the scarecrow trail, and the person that we were thinking about making needed to go on a shape, and I said, well, she really ought to go on my dummy, but I don't think it's robust enough now to do that and put it out as a scarecrow. So John said, well, perhaps you ought to have a new dummy. And I thought, and I thought, well, do I need a new dummy or do I have? And then I thought, why not? So that's my new dummy with one of my old dresses on, which I've made. So I've got a beautiful new dummy, and my dummy's turned into a scarecrow.
Which everybody will see next week or a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, that's right. At the moment, she's sitting in the next room.
But nobody's going to see that.
Nobody's going to see that. We're not going in the next room. We're not going to have a look to see what she is. No, she's sitting there behaving herself. No, she's not sitting. She's standing there behaving herself. So I suppose we better think about embroidery. Right, so how on earth did I get from making dolls and peg dolls and dresses and things to doing machine embroidery? I do ordinary embroidery as well, I hasten to add. But yeah, it was quite interesting really, because we were in John Lewis one Christmas, can't remember how many years ago, probably too many to remember. And we were walking through towards the buttons and threads and things like that, and I probably needed a zip or something. And there was a lady doing a demonstration, and I stopped and I looked, and I thought, oh, she's just machining something. Then I looked harder, and I thought, no, she isn't. Wow, that's a picture. This picture was beginning to take shape, and this machine was doing things, and I stood there absolutely transfixed, and I thought, that's fantastic. So she was explaining to me what it was and saying that, you know, you have to put a design in, or some of the designs are in the machine, and you know, she told me a bit about it. And I thought, wow, that's amazing, that really is. And we went on and we did whatever we were going to do, and I didn't think an awful lot more about it. And then, I can't remember how much later, what, a couple of weeks, week or so later?
Probably a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks later, yes. John arrived home one day and he said, I bought you a present. And I said, really? And he said, yes. And he gave it to me. And it was an embroidery machine. Well, I mean, thought it was fantastic, but I was petrified of it. Absolutely petrified of it. I use a computer because I'd been using a computer for some time when I was studying and had to put stuff online and whatever. But this was a machine which would do things, and it was computerized, and I got to learn how to use it. Well, I did, eventually. It took me some time. I got in muddles, I got confused, I got really angry with things sometimes. There is a lovely shop in Peterborough, and I'm sure a lot of you will know it, Binders, and Mr. Binder is fantastic, and his auntie who helps him is also fantastic, and I know that if I need help, I can take my machine and I can say, this has gone wrong or that's gone wrong, and they will help me, and they did, and they were quite happy to sit and show me things and help me out with things. So I had that machine for quite a number of years, didn't I?
Mm.
And as with most things that have got computers in, it becomes obsolete. You know, there are better ones, there are things that do something different. So we went along to see Mr. Binder, and we had a chat with him, and he recommended what I should have, which is what I have now got, which is a brother. And it's lovely, and I love it. And I do all sorts of things with this. Some of you will probably have had cards, Christmas cards, and perhaps other cards made by me on my machine, which I find, well, I decided it was a lovely idea because I can make each one individual. I can think, what does that person like? What are they interested in? Can I make a specific card, a specific picture for them that they will appreciate? And I like doing that. I think that's lovely. But I've made other things. I've embroidered sweatshirts for children. I've embroidered things for myself. There's a couple of skirts that are over there that have got embroidery.
Yeah, you did lots of cards, didn't you? Christmas cards, birthday cards. I got lots of them downstairs.
Saying, well, you've got a lot of cards. I was just saying,
yeah.
I did lots of cards for people. Yeah, John keeps all his cards.
All right, I'll go and get some.
Yeah, right. So John's just given me a whole pile of his birthday and Christmas and perhaps other cards that I've made him at various times. That's a straightforward. What is he? Is a sparrow or bird? I don't know what he is. He's a bird.
He's a bird.
It's a bird. It's a birthday card bird. This one I rather like. This is because he's lived by the seaside so much. He loves the sea, so I thought a nice seaside picture was a lovely one. What else have we got here? Oh yes, I can't remember. I think there was a reason, but I made that one. It's like you get Chinese animals and things. That's an Indian elephant, and it's got a special name, and I can't remember what it was, but I thought he was rather cute.
Yeah.
We've got Christmas. You've got some others on the.
I've got others on the board.
Yeah, because some of these are a bit boring. That's a Christmassy one, but that's a sort of a very.
That's a simple one. It's a single colour, isn't it?
Yes, it's a single colour on a dark background, which can. There's another one here that's a single colour. It's another seasidey one, which is I think that's rather nice.
That reminds me of Smeaton's Tower on the Hoe at Plymouth.
Tower, yes. So yes, there are others. There's there's a dragonfly there. That's rather nice one.
Oh, it's good. Hold it there. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yes, there are. I know there are more downstairs, but there are things that I have done otherwise. Oh, yes. There's two designs here which were tryouts, and you may well have seen the the results later. So on altar frontals, these were just tryouts of designs and shown to Jackie and saying, what do you want? Which ones would you like? There are others that I have done. I'll keep on that. Keep hold of that, because that shows a bit of what you have to do. So I think we ought to think about this machine and how it works. Where did that pattern over that? Excuse me. Oh gosh, right. Well, as I said, when I first got my machine, I looked at it and thought, oh crikey, what am I going to do with this? It doesn't help when you get something like this. Operation manual, and you look inside and there are pages and pages and pages, and you think, how am I ever going to get my head around this? Well, with a lot of these things you just have to pick out the bits that you need to know, and I'm quite sure there is still a lot in here that I haven't actually read. So I do the bits that I need to know, and I need, with an ordinary machine you have to learn how to thread it, how to put the needle in, how to use it. With this one, you have got designs embedded in the machine that you can use. And if I can find the right page, there are pages, you can't see them very well because they're only little pictures, but those are all designs which are already in the machine that you don't have to try and go and look for. And there are quite a lot of them. You can see several pages of designs, some rather strange ones, some kids' ones, and and a couple of alphabets. So if you want to put a message, you've got different ways of writing alphabets. But if you want more than that, you have to find things online. And I went online and I looked and I looked and I looked to find patterns, and I found the most fantastic site. It's called the Embroidery Library, and it's American, but they have thousands and thousands of designs. And you can go on, you can look at the design, you can look up each picture, and it will show you how big it is and whatever. This is something that you need to know. And then you can buy it, and they're not terribly expensive, and you download it. Download it to your computer, and then from there you download it onto a key, so that you can put the key in your machine and put the pattern on your machine and do it from there. And the fantastic thing about it is that once you've paid for it and you've downloaded it, you can use it as many times as you want to. And if, like me, you changed your machine so that you had a machine which had what's called JEF patterns, and you now have got a machine which has what's called DES patterns, you can just go into that pattern online and say, I don't want to do that way anymore, I want to do this way. And all of a sudden you've got it all over again for a new machine, which I think is wonderful. Even if you had a pattern sitting there for 5 years on an old machine, you can do it on a new one. And that to me was fantastic.
Right, wait.
Right, right, so this is my machine, and it's part way through doing a simple design, which is one of the embedded designs in the machine. So that's why I haven't got the key in. That can go around there. There is a little picture there, which is only a little picture, but it shows you what you're doing. And in this case, it's just a little spray of autumn leaves. And down the other side, it shows you the different colours that you're going to use. Now, you don't have to use those colours. They're just an idea. I frequently use different colours, but I'm more or less using the right colours at the moment. The one at the top is the one that's about to sew. So if I push that green button, hopefully it will sew that part and it'll make a noise. And off it goes. One leaf, now it's going to do another leaf. And so long as it doesn't go wrong, you don't have to touch it. If it goes wrong, you panic. Right, now that says I've finished that bit. Apart from me throwing the reel on the floor, it broke off the thread correctly. I'll pick that up later. So that has now, that colour has disappeared, and the next colour has come up there, which says it's a dark green. So that is the next colour to be done. Do you want me to go on and do that, or do you want me to...
Let's have a look at the colours, I think. The cotton.
Oh, right, okay.
Threads.
That's a good idea. So that's the next one is, let's get rid of that. Well, you're going to have to, oh, don't do that.
You're sorting them all out.
No, they were coming unrolled.
Right.
And they come unrolled. And I'll tell you why, they're difficult to handle. Right, now, these are not ordinary sewing threads. These are embroidery thread, and they have to be rayon, because the top of the machine will not take any other thread apart from the correct embroidery thread. I mean, I don't know what would happen. It would probably get all chewed up and go completely wrong. So no, you have to use the right threads. So when I had my first machine, I had these three boxes of Janome, because it was a Janome machine, and there are colours and more colours, and this last box has got the back ends of thread that I'm running out of, but more colours. Can you see that? And as you maybe have seen just now, there is another box here, and this was an amazing box which was given to me by Laura, by Marian's mum, who had decided that she didn't, wait a minute, I'm rolling up the these, it's like it goes bing and it comes undone, and it goes everywhere if it comes undone, because it's rayon, it's not cotton, and it's springy. So this beautiful box, Laura decided that she couldn't use her machine anymore, she didn't want it anymore, and she got this beautiful box somebody had given her. And Marion said to me, Mum doesn't want this. She said, would you like it? Because she knew that I made Christmas cards for people. And I said, well, that's, you know, that's worth a lot of money. She said, no, that's all right. She really doesn't want it. She'd love you to have it. So I was absolutely gobsmacked. I really was. I mean, that is such a beautiful box of threads that I couldn't, well, it is lovely. I still love it, and I am using it. Quite a lot of these have had quite a lot used, and it's beautiful. And the other thing that I like with this is that it's like an artist's palette. You have got all these different shades. This says do a dark green. Well, I've got some greens there. I've got greens in those. I can decide, I can think, what colour would I like it to be? Which green would I like it to be? I'm actually going to do it green. I mean, if it was a leaf, I should do it green. But if it was a flower, would I want a pink flower? Or a blue flower? Or a red flower? Or which other colours have I got in here? I can decide. I say it's like painting. It's like painting with thread. And I love that. It's brilliant. Do you want to stop that now? Because I can't. Obviously, you can't just put a piece of material in here and hope it's going to work, because it won't. It has to go in a frame. It's an embroidery frame. Like you have an embroidery frame when you're doing ordinary hand embroidery. This is the frame for the machine. And it clips into this thing here, which when you switch this on and push the button, it whizzes up and down, it puts itself in the right place. And it clips on there. And then as you machine, it moves backwards and forwards and up and down and round and keeps it nice and tight in the middle. The other thing you have to do, and you must always do, is stabilise the fabric. Especially if you're doing something like a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, which is stretchy. And it's this sort of funny papery stuff, which this one is actually an iron-on, which is useful. So I ironed it on to the material, and that keeps it stable so that the material doesn't stretch or anything. What did I do with the material doesn't stretch or move or anything while it's in the machine. You then rip it off. When you take that off, you can rip that off, and this isn't properly ripped off on that, but you can see that's the remains that I haven't pulled off properly of the but you can take all that off, and then it's not there anymore, but it has kept the pattern right. John is going to give me a shirt. This is a very old shirt of mine. It's a very old shirt, but I like it. And I thought, what can I do with it to make it look more fun? And you can do what they call pocket toppers. So I found a pocket topper that I liked, and I managed to get I'll take it off its hanger, doesn't need a hanger. I managed to get that into the frame of the machine with some stabilizer on the back, and I sewed myself a pocket topper that was just like my pussycat. I don't think he's ever sat in a pocket, but I thought he looked rather cute, so that's my pussycat on my shirt. And plain skirt, I thought, let's do some things around the edges. So each one of those, it's the same pattern, the same flowers on each one, but each one is a different colour. So that makes it a bit of a fun skirt. I didn't make that one, I bought that one, but I embroidered it. And this again is one that I've had for ages, and I thought, what do? Keep it or throw it out? And I thought, no, I don't. I will find a pattern, and a completely different one. So that's a very different pattern, and it doesn't go on every panel, but it goes on most panels. Oh yes, and I thought butterflies nicer too. So plain things you can put something on quite easily and change them, and they're unique. They're just yours. So those are those. So how do we get these patterns? Do you want to have a look at those? As I said, I can go on to the embroidery library website and I can think, right, what do I want? Do I want animals? Do I want happy birthday? Do I want cupcakes? Do I want, what else can we have? Christmas? Easter? Or any of the religious symbols that we might like to use in church to put on autofrontal or whatever.
Wedding anniversaries?
Wedding anniversaries, yes. Any anniversaries, anything like that. So you look, and we've printed off some. I won't try and show you the website. If you want to look up embroidery library, it's quite fun to look at. But I wouldn't attempt to show you it now. But I've printed off a few pages of different things that you can see. Well, these are just a few examples of the things that you can find as designs. As I say, the first one says 146 results. So there's 146 of this section, and it's fairy tales and nursery rhymes. So it's got things like Alice in Wonderland and Baba Black Sheep, and what else we got? Oh, several Alice in Wonderlands there. So that is one page, and then you can go on, you can look through that, and you can go on till you find the right fairy tale that you want. The middle one is religious images, the sort of thing that I have used for the autofrontals. There are some lovely. I've got a feeling that one of these I've actually used on one of it. I can't remember. But no, they're lovely. I mean, there's the bread, there's the cup, there's bread and grapes, and that says 30 results. So not quite so many on that one. That one hasn't got a number on. I don't know why. Probably because it's a middle page. But that last one is animals in the autumn, and there's a beautiful picture of a fox down there. So I've done one or two fox pictures because we've got foxes in the back garden. So that's rather lovely. So all of those, that's just a tiny example of what you can have. The list of categories, I don't know how long it is, but it's huge. There are other sites, and I did try the other day to see if I could find an English site, I couldn't find anything. It was nearly as good as this. The thing at the bottom, you got that is, you can, when you've decided what you're having and you put it up on your machine, you can then go into the colour chart, and that tells you the colours that they suggest that you use. You don't have to stick to that. You can change things, do whatever you want to. I definitely changed things the other day because I made a card for Amelia's christening. And the card was a little teddy bear holding a cross with a Bible verse underneath, which was fine. And the colour chart that I looked at on the web, on the computer, showed him as a brown teddy bear, and he was lovely. And then when I put it on my machine and the colours came up, he suddenly changed to green. And I thought, I don't think Amelia wants a green teddy bear. So he wasn't done in green, he was done in brown. So colours are subjective, colours come up in different ways and different things. So it's entirely up to you and entirely up to your aesthetic sense what colour you want it to be. But I hope that's given you a bit of an idea about using an embroidery machine. You do have to get used to it. They are fun, but you do have to get used to it. And I enjoy mine.
Right, thanks very much. I hope everybody enjoys watching this and the chatter between us. So bye-bye, everybody.